Hey guys, it's ETGG, and in today's video, I wanted to talk about love, boundaries, and attachment and how they all play into each other because I feel like attachment was something that played a bigger role in my life than I thought it did, and the whole time I thought it was love. So let me get into it. So ever since I was a little jit, I feel like I've had like very strong attachments to the people around me. And I could say that with confidence because I used to be that friend who would cry when they felt left out. And if you didn't want to hang out with me, I would make it a thing of, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Meanwhile, it's not even that deep. And in general, I used to think that I was afraid of love when in reality, I was actually afraid of how much attaching to a person and then being forced to detach from them hurt. And that entire process made me very closed off and very emotionally shut down because I didn't like the feeling of attaching to a person and giving them the power to like make me feel good and to make me feel whole within myself. And then them basically shitting on that, well, it's not a privilege, but shitting on that label that I gave to them. And as a person who grew up with relationships that were attachments and I thought it was love, I had a very hard time making friends and dating in general because I would become attached to people or people would become attached to me, and that never ends out well. Whether both people are attached to each other or one is attached and the other is detached, that's never going to work out because when you are attached to something, you cling on to it and you look at it like it is your sense of fucking survival. Like if that person disappears or if this situation disappears, if this opportunity disappears, your life is fucking over. But that's not how life works, you know? And I was just journaling, so I'm gonna read to y'all a little bit of what I said because I feel like I wrote it down better than I am explaining it right now. And basically what I said is, the reason why love used to be so scary to me is because I thought that attachment was love. I would cling on to people when I was younger and thought that that meant love. When that attachment was proven as unworthy to maintain by the other person, I would take offense. I needed my mom when I was younger and she didn't nurture me in the way that I needed and deserved to be nurtured in. I needed my siblings and they didn't do such an amazing job either. And overall, I just wrote about how a lot of the relationships in my childhood would disappoint me, and a main theme in my life would be feeling unworthy because I felt like people would just continuously disappoint me and I would put their trust in them, or I would just want to be saved from whatever my situation was, or be saved from myself because a lot of the times I would just be fucked up to myself as well. But I would just want something or someone to save me, and when they didn't do that, that would like hurt me really bad. And overall, I just came to the understanding and the realization that when you love without attachment, that is when you are actually able to love with less risk. I'm not saying that love isn't a risky thing in itself because you are choosing to put your trust into a person and that could always go any way. But when you're not attached to that person to make you happy, or you're not attached to them being in your future, or you're not attached to any specific outcome with the person, I feel like the love can be more pure that way. And I used to have a lot of hatred within myself for like past friendships, past experiences, family members, because it would hurt so much when I would like be attached to them. Like for example, your mother, that was like my first relationship ever, and she used to disappoint me a lot. And now I just have so much compassion for her because I understand why she acts the way that she acts. She's human in the same way that I am, and ever since I started to give myself more compassion, I was able to give that same compassion to her. And at a point, I kind of just stopped expecting things from her, and I just allowed her to be who she was, and to not like, another thing I would do is like I would reciprocate energy. Like if someone showed me that they didn't care about me, I wouldn't give a single or two shits about them. I would go out of my way to be rude, to be disrespectful, to be mean, to make them feel what they made me feel. And I feel like that's not a great way to embody love or to attract love that you actually want into your life. Because in in general, like, it's not a good idea to put out an energy that you do not want to experience yourself. If there is something that is unfavorable within your life, just don't focus on it, you know? And I had to come to terms with that when it came to family and friends and certain situations that left me a little bit traumatized. And once I started to do the inner work and I started to heal myself, I started to naturally release those attachments to those people, to those situations. And at this point, I feel like I could just like look around, not only like within my life and with the people who are like intimately in my life, but just look around in general and just love the fact that everything is how it is. You know, like I used to be the type of person, if I'm trying to sit down and record and there's people in the park or there's people in the house, I would just be mad as fuck. But now it's like, you're just existing and you deserve to exist just as much as I do. And when I stopped looking at people to be my savior or to take me out of a certain feeling state or to make me feel better about myself in general, I stopped feeling so hurt when they would disappoint or let me down. Because in reality, they're just doing them, you know? You shouldn't have like such an emotional attachment to a person that them doing them and them doing what they believe. Oh, that dog almost trampled me. But that threw me off guard. Yeah, them doing what they want to do should not impact you to the point to where you are literally like crippled and like you're so upset with them, you're so upset with yourself, you're doubting your self-worth, because people are going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. People are human as well, so if you were traumatized by a certain circumstance or a certain person, you know, I'm not saying like to give them grace for them, give them grace for you, because it doesn't feel good to just be sitting in anger, to be sitting in resentment because of an attachment that you had to that situation or to that circumstance or to that person. It's not fair to them and it's not fair to yourself. All in all, I just discovered that true love was allowing people to be and accepting that people are how they are. And I also apply this to how I move with myself, where it's like, I love myself despite the mistakes I've made in the past. I love myself despite the fact that I'm going to continue to make mistakes in this life. I love myself despite the fact that I don't trust myself at times. I love myself despite the fact that I hurt people on accident sometimes. And overall, I radically accept myself, and I make it a point to radically accept myself. And I also make it a point to radically forgive myself and to give myself compassion, because life be tricky, girl. So since I extend that passion and that true pure love that is not based in attachment onto myself, I can also extend it to other people. I also love the fact that, like, I love beauty. I love the fact that I'm a beautiful woman, but I don't think that I'm attached to the fact that I'm beautiful. I feel like I just appreciate it, I enhance it, obviously, and I enjoy everything that there is about being myself. And this morning, I was able to be in my mother's presence and just not feel away. I was able to be in her husband's presence and not feel away. I used to have a lot of built up resentment and anger when it came to my siblings as well. Because, again, I was looking at everybody but myself to give me that fulfillment, to give me that acceptance, to give me that validation. And once I started giving it to myself, it's like, I don't expect you to do anything for me. And I appreciate the fact that you're just alive. You know? Now boundaries. I completely forgot to get into boundaries. Boundaries is what allows love to stay pure. And by that I mean the boundaries that you have with everybody and everything in your life is what allows you to keep the connection as lighthearted and fun and not constricting. Because, for example, the boundaries that I have with my mother, for example, someone who I have vented about on this channel quite a few times, those boundaries allow me to still have gratitude for the fact that she is alive and that she is here. those boundaries are, I'm not going to be around her for longer than a certain period of time. If she's in the house for too long, I'm just going to get out the house. You know, I'm not going to make it a whole thing and like have an attitude with her. I'm just going to leave the house, you know. I'm not going to talk to her for long periods of time. There's certain portions of my life that she does not know about. I'm not going to share them with her. I do not ask her about her personal life, but I do still extend kindness. I am going to still move like cordially, but there's no reason to be disrespectful or to hold resentment or to hold anger, because she made her mistakes, you know. She's human, but I'm also human and I need to protect myself. So those boundaries allow me to love her without having resentment, because I feel like resentment is a form of attachment too in its own way, because when you resent someone, you hold on to seeing them in a way that is negative. And that's not godly. Like, it's not godly. One more example of boundaries allowing you to have pure love, I'm going to use myself as an example, is one boundary that I have with myself is that I have to be committed to growth every day, in every single moment. And when I look back at my day, I could be like, yeah, I committed to growth today. Because in order for me to be happy and to love my life, I need to constantly be working towards something. I need to be constantly working on myself, making sure I'm getting enough rest, making sure I'm emotionally, you know, regulated, up to date, and just doing everything that I have to do so I can be the best version of myself. And that is a boundary that I have set for myself. Because yes, I love myself regardless of how emotional I could be, or regardless of mistakes that I've made, regardless of the amount of times that I've snapped on people. I do love myself regardless of those things, but that doesn't mean that I can't want to change and be better as well. The point of this life is evolution. So that is just a boundary that I have with myself. And to sum up everything that I said, love is not attachment. You do not squeeze and hold on to something you love. You admire it and you accept it within your life. Boundaries allows you to keep that love pure and to keep that love as love and not allow it to turn into attachment. And attachment is when you put energy into a person, a thing, or a situation and expecting it to give you back something in return, and then getting upset when it doesn't do that for you. Because baby, all you need is yourself. Stop playing. You know, I've complained about my mom a lot on this channel, but now I feel like my focus is definitely going to switch onto myself and onto the different ways that I am learning how to heal myself from past traumas, past situations, past emotions that are still in my body and my mind and my psyche today. So yeah, love everybody, love yourself, love your life, love the circumstances. You can still change, you can still have boundaries, but just love it all. Because having resentment and anger, it doesn't do anything for you. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, you know, like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything specific that you want to hear me talk about, or if you just want to yap, like, I'm going to link my Instagram and my TikTok in my bio. Bye.